Hallelujah. You're welcome to tonight's service. My name is Isaiah. At exactly 9 minutes to the top of the hour, we bring you real stories. Sounds of Isaiah Mbuga going out at exactly 9 minutes to the top of the hour. So privileged to be here tonight. And I do believe that these days you're looking forward exactly at exactly 8:45 to be part of a service where we listen to real people with real testimonies and real results coming out of real issues that they face. These things are not rehearsed. It comes to you live, just like breaking news. And tonight I am privileged to be once again coming to you to share with you this kind of great news. And I do believe this exact time God is going to be doing something wonderful for you. Yeah. So to help me discuss tonight, I'm delighted to be having my own church administrator. You've heard from many stories. Her life story is interweaving with so many other people's stories. And it's time to know who is this lady and why is she so committed to Christ? What is it? What is it about her life? And please, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, please welcome with me on tonight's show, Joyo, Phiona, Te. Welcome.
Thank you, Bishop. I'm glad to be here.
Really?
Yes.
All right, Joyo.
I am glad to be here.
Joyo?
Yes, Papa.
Let's begin there.
Let's begin there. Well, Joy is born again. She's submitted to Christ Heart Ministries International. I've been born again since 2008. Yes, 2008. And yeah, I'm still single, but not for long. What else, Papa? I love my church. I love Bishop. I love people. I am a sanguine by nature. And yeah, I like laughing and being happy. Yeah.
That's Joyo. The first time I heard that name, it disturbed me. Joyo. Hey, yeah, the name disturbed me. And even actually 2 names disturbed me. Actually, I thought you're either a Black American or a Jamaican or a Congolese.
Yes, I am from Arua, which is right, actually, our village could be separated by a road with Congo. So you might have been right on the mark.
Okay. Wow, you're welcome. So I want you to retrace your steps back, if you can. And we talk about your life before Christ died.
Well, I was born with a Catholic background, and at my home, we are a bit of a mixed breed. My father doesn't believe, my mother is Catholic, and they were kind of liberal parents. We were very liberal at home, so you had a chance really. About religion and beliefs, my father was not very strict about those, but he was more strict about the kind of character that you had. For example, he didn't like thieves, stealing. Those are things that really get to him. Laziness, even up to now, he just can't stand anyone not being there working. So I come from a Catholic background, and I attended Catholic schools. So I think it was in my S2, I was in Nabingo, and I came home one holiday and told my mom, you know what? At school, we over pray. So when I come home for holidays, because I pray enough at school, we used to do the rosary. Then it was a bit much. And I reached a point where I had my doubts about about God about God and the kind of religion I was in. I wasn't satisfied, I could say. So in my S2, I started slowly withdrawing. I stopped, one of the things I stopped was saying the rosary. And even when I would go to pray, it would be hard for me to say the prayers, because our prayers are already written in a book. Mirembe Maria, Ekitiibwa, Ekisa. So, Ajude name. So they were already pre-programmed. So even when you would go for confession, I remember one time I went for confession to the father, because they said, as a Catholic, you have to confess, or gender in the other. So I went and confessed. I think I had become angry with my friend. And the guy told me, Gendo sabe Bikira Maria milundi abiri. So in me, I wasn't satisfied. I did actually say the Bikira Maria. And that was the last time I ever went for confession. So I walked like that. I wasn't in God. I would pray. I would say prayers every day, but I liked to talk to God like he was a person near me. But of course, I hadn't met anyone who thought like me. I didn't think, I don't know, I didn't think about it or talking to someone about it. And here we were in Nabingo, and there was a fellowship for the born agains. Of course, they weren't allowed to have it, but it was there. And I remember one time I went and they prayed. I really liked it because they used to sing beautiful songs, and they prayed, and I gave my life to Christ. But I became angry with someone. No, I became angry with someone. So I knew I had sinned. So I was like, yeah, but I've just given my life. As in, it didn't last even an hour before I had given my life to Christ. I told my friends, and they were like, shit, you can't be born again. Because we knew that being born again was changing your whole life immediately. Immediately, everything had to happen there and then. So here I was, I got angry with someone. I was like, and there was this friend of mine, she was born again, and I just loved this girl. We had been friends since primary. We are still friends up to now. But this girl had a beautiful character. She was kind, she was social, and she's someone who I would look at her and be like, Banana, I wish I could be like Carol. But then I had another friend of mine who was also born again. Then this one is the opposite. She was mean. She was perfect. That one. I said, so after that, no more getting born again business. So I moved. And of course, here we are. We get to campus. And I had come, I had come out of my parents' clutches. My parents were different. Whenever there would be like shows, They would take us. Go Simanya, Chakademas, Simanya what? We would go. Shalamwan. We would go. We were young, but we would go with them. They would take us. So because I think deep down, all of us liked music. So we would go, we dance, we see. So really going out for me wasn't a big thing. It was normal. It was normal business because remember, I used to go with my parents. Then here I come to campus and life was going on. First year, I was a goody. We used to call them goodies. I was all about my books. And I hadn't settled in properly. Then second semester, I had a group of friends. Yeah, it was that girl who was cool with the people who read books, the people who go out, the people who go to church. I was just right there. I would fit in with anyone. This one says, "Oh, we go. When it's time for church on Sunday, we go. Books, we read." So yeah, I was like that until my second semester of first year. Then
which year is that?
I really became someone different. And
which year is that?
I used to go to the club. I would go to the club and I was commuting because I was studying in MUBS. I used to commute. Our home is in Buya. So I used to commute. And I would lie, Bishop. I was a liar, like a liar. I would tell my mom. I remember this one time I told her, you know what? I have so much coursework. I'm going to stay overnight at my friend's place. Then I complete it. I'll come home tomorrow. She said, oh, okay, no problem. Of course, there was no coursework. We were going out to the disco.
Which disco?
So we go to the disco and
which disco?
I think we were bar hopping. We used to call it bar hopping. So you would move like from Silk to Ange to whatever. So here we were walking in with our friends. And I felt someone hold my hand. It was my mom.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. It was so bad. Was I froze.
What time was it?
Hey, Bishop, it was 11. I think it was about 11, going towards midnight. Her friend had come into the country. So the friend told her, come, let's go out. You know, it's been long. She's like, oh, why not? I just felt a hand and knew, oh my goodness, you know, I had even been escaping from home. I would jump. As soon as I finished S6 exams like this, I started jumping. And the first night I jumped, I was caught. And my mother was so frustrated. She was like, you girl, what's happening to you? I told her what, but I'm just going out to dance. She's like, if you want to dance, why don't you ask me? Why don't you tell me I want to go out tonight and dance? And I told her, you're not going to allow. She's like, Bananga. She called the clan meeting. She's like, Bananga, you talk to your daughter. She would tell my uncles, because I was very close with my uncles. Talk to your daughter. She tells my brothers, Bananga, talk to your sister. I said, but what's wrong? I'm just going to dance. I'm not doing any other thing.
Would you go alone? Like you leave your brothers inside and then you go?
We would hatch the plan with the brothers.
So for them, they were not caught?
I would be like, Katimi, they are picking me at 11. For them, they were not caught. I'll be like, I'm coming. I'm leaving at 11. You be as if you're closing the door, or you leave the garage door, be as if you're making a phone call outside. Then me, I'll pass, you lock, then you come in, and that's it. Because I used to sleep alone in my room, so I would lock the door. And the first time, they caught me. I was embarrassed anyhow. So
they caught you with makeup.
I went, she caught me.
She caught you with makeup.
No, I didn't even know about makeup then.
Hey.
I just wanted to go out because my friends had been doing. Yeah, where did we even go that night? I can't remember. You know, peer pressure is bad, Bishop. When I was in S3 and S4, my friends used to escape from school, from Nabingo. And there is just before we're going to do S4 exams, they escaped. I'm telling them, but where are you going? Why would you go on the weekend before we start our exams on Monday? They're like, come and we go, come and we go, come and we go. I'm like, we go. I said, no way. This one I refused. They went and they caught them coming back inside. So they gave them an internal suspension, and they were given they expelled them, but they had to come in and do their exams. So I imagined I would be like that. But I always had those friends who would always be like, together. So here I was in S6, then first year, and we went. And then it became something else, Bishop. I would go out every night. Every night we're going out and we're drinking.
Mm-hmm.
And we would go out. It didn't matter. One of the nights that I think I thought would change I would start changing. I think maybe one day we went to this bar it was in Kabalagala. Was it Kabalagala? Yes. A friend of mine told me, come and we just go out. Just for drinks, 1, 2. We were together. We went with, there was this guy who was vibing. He came with a friend. And we started drinking. But we entered that place at 9 with the intention of leaving at about 11. So that would go back to hostel. The next time we came out of the bar, the sun was shining. I was like, no way. I felt like we had been there for an hour. That was the last time for me to go to Kabalagala. I said, that place, I'll never go back there. But my friend used to say, hey, a demon, there is a devil in Kabalagala. So Kabalagala would not cross. But anyway, we did that until my second year, my last semester. You always have those friends who speak into your life. And my friend is like, but are you serious? She came and talked to us. She's like, you guys, you're getting out of hand. You're getting out of hand. You need to concentrate on your books. This is not why you came to campus, la, 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 la. She talked and we listened. We didn't just stop overnight going out, but we listened and we started cutting back. And I remember that holiday, I was at home and I was actually sleeping. And then I heard a voice telling me, why do you keep running from me? And I woke up and I thought I was dreaming. So I woke up, I looked around, there was no one. And I slept again. And the voice asked me again, why do you keep running from me? So anyway, I gave my life to Christ on that day. It was 22nd June. Yeah, 2008. So here I am. I am now born again and we go back to school. And I told my friends, you guys, I gave my life to Christ during holidays. That Sunday I went to church and I gave my life to Christ. And then, we went on with school. Started doing what? Yeah, we went on. And then third year, my last semester, I got a retake. And I could not believe I had gotten a retake because, you see, I used to go out, Bishop, even on a Sunday. No, we used to have exams on the weekends. Yeah, I would go out on a Friday and still go into my paper on the weekend and do it. And all the years I had been in MOOBS, I had never gotten a retake. And then I got a retake. I remember I had also told my parents that I was born again. Oh. Then, of course, my father and I are very close, and he has always spoken into my life, said, you're going to you will be a good person. You're going to be a great woman. You will be. He always spoke such things in my life. He would be like, but this one, she cannot fail to graduate. She has to graduate. She has. And here I come home with a retake. I was I was shattered. Okay, I wasn't very shattered. I was like, I stood on the word that all things work together for the good of the Lord. And my dad was pissed. He was angry. He was angry, to say the least. As in, he told me about being born again. He said so many things. And I, in turn, also said many. I didn't say a lot, but I said things that would hurt him. I said some things that hurt him. And I was that kind of child who doesn't talk back, who would do what my parents tell me to do. But this one time, I felt like I needed to fight for my God. I came out and I said something to him, and my father just looked at me and he asked me, and is that the behavior of people who say they believe in God? Would he say something like that? And I just looked at him. I apologized. And actually, he said, "Again, and the school fees, as in I'm wasting my time with you anyhow." So our relationship just became strained. It became strained. I did the carry take. I don't even understand how I got it, but I got it. I did it and I failed again. And I wondered what is going on. Because you see, I used not to fail, especially not in class. Not in class. Maybe other things, I would, I don't know what other things, but I was that kind of person who, when I would give something to, when I would give attention to something, I would pursue it and make sure it gets. But this is a paper I had, before that last semester, we used to discuss, remember now I was born again. I was no longer in the other old life. And I would discuss for people, and we had done something similar the previous semester, and I had excelled at it. And here, a paper, it had two units. They used to call them units, I think, something like that. And I failed it, and I did not understand why. I had started working then, so I told my dad, I failed the paper again. And he was like, Zanagamba, as in, I told you, you think those things of being born again, you're going to get anything from them. Nothing is going to come out. You're going to stay failing. And those words, they cut deep. So here I was. I would go to work. The weekends, I had a friend of mine who had done the paper again. So we used to discuss. I used to even go for classes. So I did my paper. I finished it. I passed. I graduated. On my graduation, there was a party. And in my speech, I said, and I introduced myself and I said, my name is Joyo Phiona, and I am a born again Christian. He kept quiet. When the party ended, he said, what kind of introduction is that? Huh? How can you say, that question? That who? That guy asked, how can a man be born again? Nicodemus asked, and he asked me, can you enter your mother's womb and go back and be born again? I told him, by the way, Daddy, you don't understand. He said, you're just foolish. You're just, as in, I do not know. I don't know, Joyo, if anything is going to come out of you. As in, this life you have chosen. And my father is tough. He has a booming voice, as in he's those people who raises their voices and you hear it in your heart. You start. So, of course, I started asking myself, is this the right path I'm on? And I was doubting myself. And I remember when I got born again, I did not, I had friends, my friends were born again, but they were here and there. One foot cold, one, because in the beginning, when we used to go out, they used not to come out. Then here we are in third year, we finished third year, now we are people who are working, then they started going out. So you would see them in church. On Sundays, we would lift holy hands, but on Saturday, remember where we were. We're in the bus. So I was in that mix of, yes, I am born again, but I am still part of the other world. And it became normal. At first, I started by Eh,
Yemwe.
yes, Papa.
Okay, but you're not
It
attending
started
Christ
by,
by then.
no, I hadn't started coming to Christ Heart.
Hmm.
So we would go, that you lie to yourself and say, me, I'm okay. I'm born again. God
I'm in
is on the
control.
inside of me. Then you go, I'm in control, totally in control. There is nothing I cannot do in that. I'm not drinking. I'm not that, I even reached a point of going to the club and my friends leave me in the car. But then they go and dance. Then at 4 a.m. they come and we go home. Now, I stayed in the car the whole night. I said, but what's wrong with my head? As in, what's wrong with me? So I started slowly but surely withdrawing. But they stayed my friends. These were my friends. We even had a fellowship. We would meet in third year I joined hostel, so we would meet in my room every Wednesday for sale, and we bless the Lord. So here I was.
So fast forward.
We're out of time.
How do you? Okay, now you get a job and you graduate, and you quarrel with your dad.
I graduate. But still the relationship was already strained. So there we weren't, he would do his things, I do my things. Actually, I had told him, you know what, I want to move out of the house and get my own place. Oh, that one also sparked another fight. He said, what is it you want to do outside that you can't do in the house? I've given you freedom to do whatever you want. Just you're not leaving this place. So here I am, fast forward 2013, my elder brother gets married. My parents had never gotten married in church. They had a civil wedding and what. So my dad was like, how now my son is getting married and me, he's like, okay, let's do the church thing. They did the church in the Catholic church. So they got married and so there we had a series of things that happened at home. I lost two of my elder sisters in that same year. That was, I think, 2013. In that same year, my mother she got something on her leg. She got like a small wound on her leg, and we were treating it. So it started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Anyhow, so here I am, 2014. I was tired, Bishop. I was tired. I didn't have direction. I was mourning my sisters. I was just there. I can say I was just there. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know. I was just there. I was just there. And I remember that year at the crossover, I went to All Saints Church. It wasn't my church, but now I was looking for a church. I was actually looking for a church because things weren't making sense anymore. I had stopped going to the other church where I got born again from. So I was at home and I used to watch TV, as in I would say TV. I had TV preachers. So I remember that year, 2014, I prayed to God and I told him, you know what? I went for the crossover night and they asked us to ask for something. So the thing I asked for was for a church that I could call my home. And I didn't know how that was going to happen anyhow, but that's what I asked for. I had gone to all the big churches, but it just didn't feel like home to me. So I had kept church hopping. Now here I was in Feb. It was Feb. I caught up with an old school friend of mine. He invited me to his church. And I came. I didn't come. At first I thought Mukono was in which district? Because the last time I had ever talked about Mukono, I think we used to grow some tomatoes somewhere. Anyhow, so he invites me to his church and I kept saying, hey, I'll come. So it was March 8th. I think it was a Women's Day. There was a women's conference at church. So he said, you know what, today, Sikuleka Marega, you come and we go. I met up with him. We went to Mukono. And to tell you the truth, I don't remember. Okay, I remember what you preached about. I remember the first warnings you gave in that sermon.
What did I say?
Yeah. So I was like, you are warning girls. abakyala muve ku mutabani wange. You are warning them. You're like, by the way, they're not going to marry all of you. Wait. Sounds like it. Anyhow, that was one of the things that I remember that usually came back. So I kept asking myself, what kind of person is this? I used to call them kids because I looked at them and I was like, they were shouting. You would make a point and then they shout. And I wasn't used to those kinds of things. So I was like, anyhow, we went. I came for Sunday service the next day. Even the next weekend I came. Even the next weekend, he used to pick me up and would come together. The fourth weekend, he came to my gate and he asked me, I've done what, where are you? I was like, I was already at church. I stopped waiting for him to pick me. I started coming earlier at church for the first service, because whenever I would come with him, I would miss the first service. But I was very interested in listening to the things that he used to say. I became consistent. I was added to the church pages. Masese. Then we went to Masese. And Masese, oh my goodness, it changed my life. As in, I had never had such an experience in my life. The power of God hit me so bad, so bad. I remember it like yesterday. For a whole week, Bishop, I kept shaking. I was shaking and my hands were shaking. And when I would come into contact with a prayerful person or someone who prays, the whole environment would change and we'll just start babbling in tongues. And I was like, what is this? I would call this person who had brought me to church and ask him what's going on, as in, I went off TV. I went off people. I would just come and be in my room. I would work, be in my room, work, come and be in my room. And my mother got worried. She's like, what's going on? What's wrong with you? I was like, no, I'm okay. I'm okay. And now, remember, I had left a certain life behind. So here we are, one weekend after, no, before the Masese camp, one weekend we had a Hinjira in Barara. We went with my cousins, what. I told them, by the way, I'm going to the bar that is out for me. They're like, wow, we peer pressure. We went. Bishop, that day, even I remember that was the last time I took alcohol, because here I was dancing, and parts of the sermons you kept preaching were coming to me. And still I had a voice asking me, but what are you doing? And I would drink some more. We call them tequilas. So you would just take like a shot. I didn't get drunk that night, but things kept coming into my spirit, and they were coming from church. I would hear you preaching. I would see you, and I would be like, what is going on? As it had never happened to me before. That was the last time I went to the club. That was the last time I took alcohol. And I came back, and my life had changed. I didn't want to be anywhere else but church. I would come for Tuesday Bible study. I used to come Saturday. I was among the earliest people in church. By 8, I would be in Mukono. And we would clean church. We used to do with Byron, Baker, Yusuf, Peter. We used to clean, and suddenly some joy started coming back into my spirit. Life started coming back into me. And I would spend more time in church. I spent time in church. And after a while, my friends noticed, hey, this girl no longer chats with us. She no longer talks to us. So they asked me, like after 2 months, and I told them, and they asked me, but what's wrong? Where do you be these days? Where do you pray from? You know, I had kept the secret of church from anyone. No one knew where I was praying from. But I would come and pray, and I just wanted to be there. And as soon as I told them, you know what? I started going to this church, and what. They're like, Bananga, isn't that a cult? Wait. I said, what kind of cult? Anyhow, I told them I have found a home. I have found a place where I can belong, as in I love this. And even my conversations changed. You would be saying something, 1, 2, 3, scripture. 1, 2, 3. By the way, Bishop say, Pastor Isaiah. So those were my conversations. Then they would start bringing maybe a topic about one of our friends, and I would not listen. And I would just look at them until there was a divide amongst us, and we just couldn't be the people that we used to be. We stayed on there. We are still friends, but yeah, that ship sailed. So now here I come, I am in church, and after some time, I used to love church. I don't even know what to explain about it. I just wanted to be there all the time. I would do anything to be there at that time. Whether this one said what or what, I didn't care. I didn't care because I had found a home, and it brought me so much joy. So much joy. I started making friends, and Pastor Damba was one of my very, 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 very good friends. So, and Mama Agatha, so those became my friends. And soon things started changing. Even me, I don't know what was changing. I don't even know what I was doing. I don't know what I was pursuing. All I know is I loved being in church. And consistently I became an usher. And I remember there are some things that used to amaze me. One day we were having an ushers meeting with you, and there were clouds. They gathered. They were black. It was black just over church. We were going to have a Saturday service. And you say you were teaching us. We're just few ushers. I think maybe we're about 8 or 10. And you said, you know what? There are things that you can do in God. She said, you see, you pointed somewhere and you said, I'm going to send this rain there. And the clouds, all the black clouds shifted and they went where you had so mad. I said, what manner of person is this? I was intrigued. I was like, Anyhow, I stayed coming. And soon things started shifting. I didn't care, by the way, anymore about my rift with my dad or what. I hadn't submitted to the ministry by then. So here we are. Now remember, I had told you about my mother's problem with the leg. She got like a small wound. This wound grew. It dug deep. They tried to ask, they checked cancer, they checked everything. And I remember it was in, I think 2018 maybe. I was at work. I had started working as an administrator, yes. So I was at work and my dad calls me that like 2 days earlier, my grandma had died, but my mom had been very sick. She couldn't stay alone. So my dad told us, you know what, you kids, you stay, don't come to bury your grandma. He went to bury his mother. Now he went to bury his mother. He's like, let me even stay longer, just in case they tell me that my wife is also dying. So I don't have to leave. Anyway, I remember you told me whatever they do, don't allow them to cut off her leg. God is with you, go. So I went while we were on our way, you called me again. You led my mother through a prayer of confession. She did. She went to hospital. And of course, there they started doing whatever they could. Soon, she started to die. Let me see. Because they kept saying, you know what, Chigen's kidney is failing, what. And I remember I came to office because I was working. Some nights I would sleep there, some nights I would go home. So I came to office and you told me, Joy, your mother is not going to die. Your mother is not going to die. I said, so I went and the doctor would call my dad and tell him, you just get ready because she may not make it. So he would call me and I'll be like, Mommy, it's fine. He's like, no, one of you is lying. So he left Arua. He said, let me come back home. Now, when he came home, of course, he found that the situation was bad. He said, but why didn't you tell me the truth? I told him, but she's going to get better. She's going to get better. And I remember one of those nights, they were tough. As in a reality was setting in. So still, I went to God in prayer. And one of the things I told him was, I'll still serve you, even if my mother dies, as in I don't care. I will still serve you. So went on with life. soon she was out of the ICU. So actually the doctors told her she was a total miracle because her kidneys and her what's that other organ? Not the heart. They had started failing. So they couldn't control her body, whatever's and what. So she came out of ICU, was soon discharged. Of course, we had a huge bill, but even God was faithful then. He cleared the bill. And so, yeah, that is how my life has moved in Christ's heart. And I'm here. And I still love Christ's heart. The same feelings I had towards it in the beginning are the same I still have towards it right now. I wouldn't change anything.
It's a very, very beautiful and long story. Now, I want to ask you a few questions.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, what are some of the sacrifices you've gone through because of your pursuit of God?
Yeah, of course. What can I say? Of course, anyway, one of them was my friends. Of course, there was this other person. There was this guy. We were seeing each other just before I came to Christ's Heart, though. And of course, after attending Christ's Heart, you see there are certain things that you look for in a person. And when I go back and I think about it, I realize, you know what, I don't think would have gone very far with this guy. So that was another thing. I gave up so many things.
So you lost
my
a boy.
Relationship with my dad. I lost a man.
A man friend.
Yes, Bishop. Yeah, a man friend. Thank God he was just a man friend. Yeah. So those are just some of the few things. But again, I've seen God now. Let me give a testimony, because my father and our relationship was really strained. But now, you see, someone was mentioning about submission. Submission helped me to love even my father, to forgive him. And somehow we have gotten back to that relationship with him, because I think there are certain things when you give up to God, the Bible says he will return. He will return those things so I got him back. And I love what's happening in his life. You know, I told you earlier, he didn't want anything to do with Christ's Heart, with church and what. But Bishop Ryder bought a smartphone specifically to check you out. And he started listening.
Check out who? Yours truly.
Yes.
Hey.
Yours truly. And he started listening in, and my father, he keeps saying, you know, I love Bishop. I love Bishop because he has done something in the youth. He's those, what do I call him anyhow? But he loves the work he sees you doing in the youth. He says, I even love him more because he will not preach money. He's not after your things. He's after making your lives better. So even when we have something at home and I tell him, you know what, babe, he's like, no, you go and do what Bishop has said. You go and do it. And for me, that is a testimony. For me, that is something I thank God for, because if you have impacted his life. My mother even says, now if I didn't know better, if I didn't know these two men separately, I would have thought maybe they meet somewhere and discuss certain things, because my father shocks us. He shocks us. He shocks us. He does things which are more Christian than me. He knows the Bible. I don't know when he gets time even to read the Bible. But I really thank God. I really thank God.
Could you talk about that situation where you had to walk when you didn't have transport?
Well, Yeah, that was one of those times when I had just come to church. I didn't know anyone. I didn't know many people, so I wouldn't ask for money. But like I said, there was something that was always driving me. So there was this overnight, it was, I think, in Mengo, Lunguja, where. So I had money to take me. And I had 5,000 shillings. That 5,000 shillings, I used 2,000 for transport. And to take me to where? From Buya to Mengo. I think I used 3,000. I stayed with 2,000. 2,000, I gave it as offering. It was an overnight. So when you guys left, these, you had taught us about these interim things during an overnight. Let's call this group now to represent, to present a song. So when you left, that's what happened. It was about 2. Then, so I stayed there like at up to 3, but I wasn't comfortable. And one of the things you had taught us is when you're not comfortable with something, don't do it. So I said, I saw people start to leave. So I said, let me leave as well. Until I reached someone, and somewhere I realized I was alone, but I walked and walked and walked till I got home. And,
you walked from
God is
Lunguja
always with us.
to Mbuya.
Yes.
You left at 3. You reached at what time? 5?
At 3.
What time did you reach home?
6. It was coming. It was 6. 6. It was about 6. But during that course, I remember there was a drunk guy. I never told you this, but there was a drunk guy who actually grabbed my arm as I neared the park, the new park. And out of the blue, there was a dog, and it barked, and this guy left me. And in his drunken stupor, he said, "Onatambula nembwaze." I didn't mind, but that dog followed me. Nentoka park. I don't know where it disappeared from. I don't know. But I went home. I wasn't harmed. I wasn't scared. And actually, my mother up today asks me, I told her, you know what, every time I'm doing something, nothing ever happens to me. So I don't fear, because she can be like, why did you come home late? Why did you do this? And I'm like, Mommy, I'm doing things for church. As in, really, nothing will happen to me. If I was doing something for myself, maybe, but God has been watching over me. So that's where my confidence comes from.
Secondly, as we are nearing the end of the program, I want to begin asking you, do you have any regret throughout your life, ever since you...
My regret. My regret had always been, I should have gotten born again earlier. I should have gotten born again earlier. Yeah, that was my regret. I felt like I had missed out on, but again, I do not over regret it, because then I would not be where I was right now. I would not be where I am today. Yes, Bishop.
All right. So what would you say to people who are still, because there is a challenge that we have, especially now in the grace movement, because people say that under the grace movement, we condone sin, that people can sin and continue coming to church. But in this entire thing, when you were going to the bar and coming to church, did you ever feel guilty?
Yes. Yes. Already, I had an experience with, before I came to church, I had an experience with the grace of God as other people perceived it. But for me, it had failed to register in me that being under grace means you have permission to sin. No. It had failed to register in me. And indeed, every time I did something bad, I had to go back and repent, because I knew it was not of God. It was not of God. You can't be good and evil at the same time. It wasn't. We just have to choose, and we need to be very careful about who our friends are, because they play a very big part in our lives. Yeah.
Okay.
But the other thing I could also say is salvation is.
Go ahead.
Salvation is personal. You walk this journey on your own. I remember I got Christ's heart, and I got Christ's heart for myself. I didn't want to share you with anyone in the beginning. I didn't want, until I could stand on my own. Because in the beginning I had gotten born again, but I maintained my friends, and they blow you here and there. But here I was in Christ's heart, and I said, you know what? I'm not sharing this with anyone until I could stand on my own 2 feet. And then I started telling people about my church.
Okay, so what are some of the things that you're looking forward to now that you're established, you're working in church? What are some of those things that you're saying, I'm looking forward to this and this and that?
One of the scriptures that humbles me is, at the sound of your name, every knee will bow, and every heart and every tongue shall confess that you are Christ. I look forward to that time when we will see that at the sound of Jesus' name, everything will actually bow. Everything will bow, because that scripture has been with me for a very long time, even since before. And at first I used to read the Bible and think it's just maybe someone's imagination, but I have seen that the word is real. The word is real, and that day will come. Because, Bishop, you have preached about it, you have talked about it, we have read it in the word. It will become real in our lives. Of course, there are things that I look forward to as a normal human being. I look forward to having children, getting married. Yeah.
The reverse.
Yeah, but
you don't reverse the order. You look forward to getting married.
Sorry.
If you are reversing the order, then you're working like anyway, we can forgive you. But you look forward, you've told me you're getting married soon, right?
Papa, yes. Yes. I look forward to it.
Hallelujah. Now, anyway, I'm looking forward to also meeting your Mr. Right. Yeah. Anything else you want to say? What are your final thoughts?
My final thoughts are, God knows each and every one of us personally. He knows each and every one of us personally. There are things you think God doesn't know. There is nothing he doesn't know about us. And he loves each and every one of us in his own way. If you would just open up and start to look around you, you'll see so much to be thankful for. In this time. I also never thought I would come to a place where I would be thankful for submission. Bishop, I struggled with submission as well. And I was a very independent person. So I realized that every time you would ask me, where were you? What did you, where? I said, no. Kati okwe of answering these questions, let me just be where Bishop is. So I would come when I know you're going to be in Chambogo, I would be there. When you're going, so that I do not have to feel guilty that I did something and I didn't let you know about it. Oh, I went to Mbarara. That time when I went to Mbarara, I didn't tell anyone where I was going for my party. Yeah, but so I decided, instead of let me put my life in order, let him know this is what I did. So that has helped me. Submission really is something. And now I see submission working since the other lockdown to this one, because everything you have spoken over us, Bishop, has come to pass. We have seen the goodness of the Lord. We have seen a rising up. We have seen many great things happening in our lives. Even our prayer lives have been elevated because we are submitted, because when you warn us, you tell us this is how it is going to go, we are ready for those moments. Yeah, so
Hallelujah.
I would encourage everyone, submit yourself.
Yes, you think you've seen it all, but the Bible says, eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, neither has it come into the minds of men what God has prepared for them that love him, but he has revealed it to us by his Spirit. So, Joyo, I do believe that you have not seen yet. What you've seen is just the beginning. I just want to ask you 1 minute. Since you work with me most of the time, I'm sure, what does it feel like? I'm sure people want to know. Of course, we hang out together, we laugh together, there's a way we get on together, and of course, people are always asking, how does it feel like to work with Bishop? For us, we meet him in pulpit, but what does it mean to work with Bishop from morning to evening? You being there.
Well, working with you is an interestingly nice. It's interesting. There are times, of course, yes, like you have said, we hang out, we laugh, and what. When it's business, it's really business with you. There is no two ways about it. Yes, we need to do this. Let's get. Why didn't you do this? Why are you? You're taking me on mabega. We need to move. I need this to work. So that is what it is being working with you. You are a good boss, and I respect that you know how to handle each and every one of us differently. We are all very different people. You know what makes me tick. You know what will dampen my spirit. You really understand us, is what I can say. Yeah, so working with you is really interesting. Of course, sometimes you are very spontaneous. 1 minute we'll be doing this and you're like, you're 12 days to gain in a chino. So you keep me on my toes. Sometimes I never know what to expect this morning, but yeah, I'm glad you've taught me so much. You've taught me so
what
much.
Do you think about this talk show? Did it meet your expectations? Did it exceed
I love the talk show. Bishop, I've been telling you. I have been telling you, you are one of the best interviewers I've ever come across. I have seen how you have handled people, how you've gotten stories out of them. Coming here, I was kind of very nervous. I was very nervous. I asked a few friends, man, say prayers over me. Whoa. But being interviewed by you is so beautiful. You don't even know what you're saying. You know how to remove those things we hid in there. I wish this could go on. It is really a good experience. And I think you are really, really good at what you're doing, Bishop.
Wow, thank you very much. That was Joyo Phiona, our church administrator at Christ at Ministries International. It's been nice having you and sharing this time with you. You're such a wonderful person and you do mean a lot. You hold our money. And one of the things that I've seen in you is you don't waste money, and please keep it up. And I look forward. Since you told me you're getting married soon, I look forward to officiating your wedding and maybe dedicating your children and seeing God grow you. Because even as I heard you today speak, I realized there is now somebody of substance who has come up. So it's really been nice having you here. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Joyo. Is there anything you want to say before I go?
No, Bishop. Thank you, Bishop. Thank you so much for hosting me. Thank you so much for loving in me and for believing in me. Many of the things, I've not said many things, but many of the things that have happened in my life are because you have spoken into my life. You have held my hand through some dark times. you have been there for me, and thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Now we degree marriage, twin Z, and all the other things to the glory of God. So that's all the time we had for today. It's been a pleasure seeing you, Joyo, and talking to you. It's wonderful. And thank you for accepting to be interviewed. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're still struggling with alcohol, you know the right person to talk to. If you like dancing, you know the right person to talk to. We've been through those experiences, and I'm so sure we've come out of them. Now, I may not be the right person to handle that, but Joyo has told you she struggled with it and she overcame it. So if you're struggling with going to a disco, yeah, and you're still enjoying, even when you don't go, your foot remains tapping in the room. You need a visitation from God, and He will take away the appetite for dancing. But in case you need help of any kind, from addiction, from what, please reach out. Send a WhatsApp, send a message here, put your number. We will follow you up, we will help you. Because that's why this ministry exists. We are here to mentor you and turn your weakness into a point of strength so that you too can go and help other people. Christstad is the address, and welcome home anytime. It's been nice. Have yourself a good night. We'll see you tomorrow early morning. And on Friday, being our last Friday in a month, we will take some time to pray from about 7 o'clock to about 11 o'clock. We will take time to pray. So from 7 to 11, we will pray. So prepare yourselves to be in the presence of God and to make your intercession for our nation. So God bless you. I love you all. Joyo, thank you very much. And may God bless you. Bye for now. From about 7 o'clock to about 11 o'clock, we will take time to pray. So from 7 to 11, we will pray. So prepare yourselves to be in the presence of God and to make your intercession for our nation. So God bless you. I love you all. Joyo, thank you very much. And may God bless you.